Hey YouTube people, today I'm taking a look at the Jeda USB hub and the Jeda version 3 wireless charging pad and comparing it to the original, well, not the original, this is actually the V2 Jeda hub, and I want to see the differences in charging. Now the reason that I'm swapping it out is because I had an S20 Ultra and it would not charge on the Jeda 2 hub very easily. I really had to jam it into the corner, and half the time it wouldn't charge at all, and it wouldn't go into fast charging mode because it just is not the right shape to line the coils. So the Jeda version 3 should accommodate those types of phones a little bit better, so that's what I want to take a look at, along with the USB hub. Nothing new here versus what people have known for a long time, I believe, but this V3 does have a few changes, and I'm actually going to be testing the output of the output of both of these charging pads to see which one outputs more power. All right, so let's take a look inside the V3 box, and we'll compare it to the V2. So you get that classic red Jeda look, and it looks pretty similar to the V2 in general in terms of layout, the only difference being the fact that there is no lip. The V2 has a lip on the bottom, where this one, in order to accommodate larger phones, it does not have the lip, which is a good thing because my current phone won't fit up there in portrait mode, but I suspect with the version 3 it is going to fit. So we'll test that in a second here. Also in the box comes with 2 USB cables, which we won't be using because we'll be running off the 12-volt socket to get fast charging. And it should support up to about 15 watts. Okay, so in order to tell if the V3 is any better than the V2, we actually have to test the charging. So I have a 12-volt setup here in order to get fast charging to work. And right now I have a meter on the cable that goes up to the Jeda USB up here. And I'm going to take this Note 20 Ultra and drop it on here. And get it charging. And then if we look at the USB meter, we'll be able to see how fast it goes. So right now we are at 3.86 watts, 4 watts. So it's jumping up, it's kind of ramping up. And it's peaking there at almost 11 watts. So that kind of gives us our benchmark for fast wireless charging on the Jeda V2. So let's go ahead and get the V3 installed and see how it goes. So in order to remove the V3 and the V2, I'm going to be removing the V2 here. So it helps if you pull your top lid down first. That actually allows a little clearance to actually get it out slightly. And then I'm going to disconnect the cables in the back here. And voila, it's out. Here's the V2. You can see how it's held up over the year or so that I've had it. It does have a little bit of warping here. I'm not sure what that's about. And the texture on the front has worn a little bit with some marks. I'm hoping the V3 doesn't have quite as many marks, but I've owned a lot of these charging pads and they all have kind of done that. Okay, so I've attached those cables and then I'm just going to slightly push it up and in there and kind of fit it into the holes. And this actually came with a spacer unit. So this is the spacer unit if you're interested in running actual cables to it. I'm most likely just going to stick with the original trim piece here. And now that the lip is gone, hopefully I can insert that phone without issue up into here. Let's use this analog and see if that is truly the case, and it looks like it is. I can now fit my phone in portrait mode once again, so that's great to see. But let's go ahead and see how fast this Jeda V3 charges compared to the Jeda V2. Okay, so we got the V3 installed, and we're going to place the Note 20 Ultra into place there and see how fast it decides it wants to charge. So far we're at, we just bumped up to 8 watts, 9 watts. So it looks like it's capping out there at about 9 watts in the horizontal position, which is actually worse than the version 2, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and try the landscape position and see if there's any difference there. Okay, let's see if that's any better. So keep in mind, we could not charge in portrait mode at all with the previous version. This one is charging at 9 watts ish in the portrait position. So initial results are not looking great in the fact that it is charging slower, unfortunately. But what I have noticed is I haven't had to play with it as much. So let's see if I just drop the phone on there, it goes straight to wireless charging and now fast wireless charging. So no misfires there. With the version 2, I kind of had to slide the phone around to get it to charge. Okay, so what's my verdict on the Jeda V2 versus the V3? Well, I do have, in terms of the pros for the Jeda V3, I'm now able to drop my phone in here in portrait orientation, which I haven't been able to do with some of these larger Samsung phones. So that means I can now fit 2 phones in here, which is great for traveling. It also has never failed to start wireless charging when I drop it in. The V2 has done that several times, where I put it in and it doesn't charge and I don't realize it, and then I realize I've been driving and my phone hasn't been charging at all. So the V3 for reliability is actually quite good. For placement, very good. So that's one of the pros of the V3. The only con I have is that my V2, when it would charge, I was able to charge at about 11 watts, where the V3 with this exact same phone in the same case only charged at like 9.5 watts, which is a little bit slower. But charging, 10% slower is probably not that big a deal, since the V3 is reliable. I have more phone positions, but also this is just my results with this case. This is a Note 20 Ultra, so your phone might be slightly different. I did try taking the case off and seeing how fast it would charge, and it did bump that up to almost 11 watts again. So I'm not sure what that is. Maybe they've made the coils able to be positioned in more areas to make it more reliable, but it can't focus the power quite as tightly. So that could be the reason why. But anyways, if you are looking to use the V3 because you think it's not charging fast enough, the V3 may not be the answer for that. But if you are thinking about getting a Jeda V3 because you have a large phone and you can fit it into lots of positions, and your V2 is not reliable, or the Tesla stock wireless pad is not reliable for your large phone, the V3 seems pretty solid. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you later.